Hello, welcome back to Talk Seagulls, and we're back during the international break, and it's very boring. Everything's gone dead, and I don't know what to talk about anymore. So what else to talk about than bring in another footballer to talk about football? Because what else are you going to talk about? There's no football on, Toby.
Exactly. It's got to be done.
Nice to have you in, Toby Bull, mate.
Good to be back, yeah. Good to be back.
Had you down, I want to say, last year at some point?
About a year or so ago, I think it was, yeah.
That's horrible, isn't it, how time goes?
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. It's crazy. A year older.
Yeah, another year older. How you been, though? What's happened? What's changed?
Yeah, no, all good. Playing football, obviously at Lewis now, so which is good fun, consistent football. Social media's growing, which is really good. As we spoke about that last time.
It's the only reason I got you on, mate, to be honest.
We spoke about that, last time. And yeah, we probably was in the early sort of stages of the social media sort of thing and just kept going with it. Again, sort of said to you, don't really have any plans with it. It's sort of just taken off a bit and really enjoying it. That's sort of going well and sort of looking into different things, start to work with new people and it's been going really well. Yeah,
I've noticed the social media stuff and I thought, I always quite like the idea of seeing players do social stuff because you get to see a whole different perspective of everything. Because, you know, as much as it's great being a fan, I get to talk about it as a fan, I've never been on a pitch like that before. I've never been in front of people like that before. So I was even asking you off air, what's it like playing in front of a crowd of, you know, you're at Lewis now, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's quite a decent ground. You're showing me the photos and stuff. It's a pretty good ground. And by the way, when this does go out, make sure you get down to the Lewis game.
Yeah, no, I'll be there.
100%.
Just don't give me stick.
Yeah. Oh, actually, let's stay on that first because this is what I talk about. Because goalkeepers get stick. Like big time. Yeah. Particularly in the lower leagues, right? I mean, EFL, you still get it in the Prem, but nowhere near as much as sort of, you know.
Nah, like if you think, so in a non-league game, so you would have been, so the away fans will go behind my goal.
Yeah.
And then obviously in the professional league, you have to sit. In the non-league, they will walk round at half time just to then go straight behind my goal to give me more stick.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know what you mean.
I just posted a vlog. So people go watch that. So I posted that and then I posted like a short and stuff so people can see it.
Yeah.
We played Hastings, kind of like a derby, like Sussex sort of derby. And there was one guy, well, not one guy, there was loads of them, but there was one specific guy I can remember. The whole game, I don't even know if he was watching, he was just giving me stick the whole game, which I'm not going to repeat what he says because...
Get demonetised.
Yeah, exactly. But just the whole game, just constant. And it's like, you don't really get that anywhere. If you play in front of like 20,000 or so, it's different. It's just pure noise. If there's like 1,000 or so people there, you can hear it. Yeah. So I'd say it's actually harder because you can hear exactly what they say. And they look you up. Like they generally, they'll look you up. They'll find details about you. And they mate, they go proper deep. Because anything sort of get a bit of advantage or anything. But you sort of let it go past. Mad. And it's quite funny sometimes. You can give it back. But if you're winning, it's obviously so much easier. Even when you're losing, you're just like, shut up, please. But it's one of them because they're right behind the goal as well. Like some non-league pitches, the net will finish like where I am, and then where the fans stand, it's there. So you're literally like less than like 2 meters away, and they're just screaming in your face.
I've always wondered like how if I would be able to be, you know, the mopeds of the world. Yeah. You know, proper wind-ups. They live for it. They absolutely love it. Vardy is probably one of the greatest of our generation for absolute wind-ups. But like, I don't know, I feel like I want to be able to say, I'll be able to do that. But then could I? Would I be able to just deal with that and get booed every touch? And like, even if it's not even, you know, really bad language and stuff, even just getting booed and stuff, it's going to put the player off, isn't it?
It does, don't get me wrong, it does put you off. But I think it's something you don't want to get used to it because it's not like, it's like something that, I love being called this, that and the other. You know what I mean? No one likes it. But you do just sort of get used to it and you understand that it is football. And a lot of the time, some fans have like after the game, if you sort of played well, they're giving you abuse the whole game. After the game, they'll applaud you, be like, oh, well done, mate, like done well. So it's sort of like, you know, when you see on a pitch when two players are going at it and then after they're like shaking hands, all friendly. Yeah. So I think there's, not saying always, but most of the time there's that respect after. But you've got to give them respect. So I'm sort of going in their face, like celebrating. It's sort of, I'll do it if they give me proper stick, but there's a line to it. So it's football at the end of the day. You get on with it. And if you sort of I've played near 50 games now in like men's football. It's part of it now. Yeah. You're sort of used
Pickford's
to it.
the one, isn't he?
Oh mate, yeah, but that's what I mean. I think when you're playing in front of so many people, it's probably slightly easier because you can't sort of hear exactly what they're saying. You sort of just know. But everyone loves a bit of a wind-up. You have to be as a goalkeeper, do you know what I mean? You have to.
Do you ever do a little bit? Just, you know, grab the ball and then fall over a little bit.
Time wasting. It's part of the game. Yeah, it's part of the game. And fans like they love it and they also hate it at the same time.
Yeah.
When you're on the sort of like my fans, I'm time wasting. They absolutely love it. But as soon as like it's the other way around, oh my god, this stick is crazy.
Oh mate, the amount of games I've been to, the worst ones for me was like for Brighton was always Kane. He would always, cheat and time waste and dive.
It's the dark arts, isn't it? It's the dark arts of football. But
that's what they call it clever now. They call it clever now.
Yeah.
It probably would just be called straight up cheating about 5 years ago, to be fair. But now it's called being clever. So that's just how football is these days. But yeah, the amount of times I'm quite guilty for getting a bit annoyed with time wasting. I hate it. But I've got to be honest, if it is going the other way, my answer is, well, to be fair, we don't really do it, do we?
It's fine. It's part of the football, and it's like, if you can do that bit right, it makes such a big difference. It's even like, you see now with Arsenal, with David Raya going down, people go, oh, it's cheating, he's not really injured. He's not, but he's found a loophole in the law, which works. Like, if he needs to speak to his players...
See, I still hate it.
Don't get me wrong, I reckon something will get changed by that. Something has to... But at the same time, like, how? He's found a loophole and it works. So, in a way, it's genius because he's worked it out. But for the opposition fans, oh my God, it does your head in.
Yeah.
Because he's not injured.
Yeah.
But
okay, this is what I never get, right? You could probably tell me this as a player, like what's said with the referees and stuff. Obviously, I know it's different leagues of officials, whatever. But like, what's said between them? Because apparently it's similar across the whole board. It's not just like Prem refs, Championship refs, League One refs. Like, I think it's pretty, even goes down to non-league. It's pretty rough. And obviously, I watch a lot of non-league myself. But like, how many times do you have a conversation with a referee after something like this has happened? You don't have to answer. It's going to get you in trouble, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. But I think
it must be frustrating.
It is.
Because you say that they're not injured, right?
No, honestly, if you get me started talking about non-league refs, I will get myself in trouble, because we've had a few this season. I've lost my head because you do speak to them sometimes. Like, I've been guilty of it. My manager just told me to go down. Ref comes over. The ref knows. Of course he knows, but he can't do anything. So he sort of just comes over. He's like, let's speed it up a little bit. They sort of treat it as a little bit like a water break. Both teams tend to go over because he knows a lot of the time. Unless like a collision's happened or something. If he sort of just sat down, you can tell that maybe that team's under the cosh. The refs know. Try and sort of you speak to him, but like you said, there's nothing they can do. There's a loophole. There literally is nothing they can do. But yeah, mate, honestly, some refs we've had this season, it's scary. Like, I've questioned even if they're watching the game sometimes. Like, something's so obvious. Like, I'll rarely scream at a ref or shout at a ref. That's not me. And I don't think you're never going to get anything out after it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you screaming at someone, it does, to be fair. The ref's going to be like, well, I'm not going to. He's not sort of going to be on your side. I'll just ask him, like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, generally, I'm going,
do you get
the only
much
one
response
here.
back?
Sometimes, a lot of the time, their response is just waffle, and it's just they'll come up with an excuse. And sometimes I put my hands up to the ref who's gone, okay, in that moment I thought it's this. Like, I need to look back, but in the moment I thought it was this. And if they justify it, I go, fair enough. Or if they sort of know they made a mistake, fair enough. But it's the ones that sort of go, no, that was right. And I'm like, when it's so blatantly obvious, it's wrong. And I think the other thing which I sort of struggle with with non-league officiating is the linos sometimes. It feels like the lino's sort of just there and he doesn't really make a decision. Like, say, you know where the lino stands. So if a foul happens right in front and the ref's miles away because they're having to catch up with the game, the lino hasn't given anything. Yeah. And I'm like help him out. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how it works. Like I said, I don't want to get myself into trouble. But it sort of feels like sometimes the refs in those leagues go to like the linos. Like, I make the decisions. You can sort of just do the lines. I'm like, no, you're working together as a team. Obviously, I don't know how it works, but that's sort of how it feels sometimes. And it's like, you get so frustrated as much as you probably do.
I can see you getting frustrated
now.
As
much as you do in like a Premier League. Because it makes a difference. You know what I mean? It does make a difference. I've always sort of seen it as when a player makes a mistake, they get booked, they get red carded, or they get dropped or something like that. But it seems whenever like a ref makes a mistake, obviously they've had that thing now where refs get demoted and things like that. But it's always difficult, innit? There's clearly shows there's not enough refs in the game. People who wants to be a ref, like we're talking about now, and I'm giving them stick.
I know, I'd struggle.
It's really difficult. It is really difficult. Yeah. But at the same time, when you're
it's communication, isn't it? Like being able to,
yeah.
Because you see it so much, especially at the top level. Like, you know, you see the players and they surround the referee, and sometimes, and don't get me wrong, most of the time, the players are quite within their rights to be, getting angry.
It's frustrating because it's not something the player's done. It's a decision that's out of your hands, and it affects the game a lot.
But it's that ignorance for me, because it's the way they almost just look away from it, and they're like, "I'm not interested." And even if they've got the best case ever, they're like, "Look, this is just wrong, straight up wrong." Like you see some offsides. I remember us against Palace a couple of years back. I think the same thing happened this year with Palace. Literally an offside that was offside, but they gave it onside twice at the same place. And, they can go as crazy as they want. And all they go is, it's the law.
Yeah.
It's not the law though, is it? It's wrong.
Yeah, and that's where you get frustrated, because it's a little bit of common sense just needs to get involved. And sometimes in the Prem, obviously, when you've got VAR, they can the rest get away with it a little bit more. Even though there's been some crazy
I was going to say, what's your take on VAR?
I do like it. I think they're still working out the best way to do it. It's a really difficult. It is really difficult. Don't get me wrong. Like if you're sitting there, you've got to make that decision quickly, and all them people are waiting. It is difficult, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that difficult. It should be. You look at it, you go, okay,
common sense.
That angle. Okay, to me, that's a pen. To me, it's not a pen.
Yeah.
With my football brain, that's how I would see it. It looks so much into little details, and don't get me wrong. It's so difficult because they've got to make a decision quickly. You flick onto Sky Sports News when you do that ref watch, they're talking about it for half an hour.
Yeah, I agree with
and
that.
They're like, and you're thinking, okay, that's different.
Yeah, it's over-analysing for the sake of it,
just
really.
Watch it in normal time, different angles, there you go. That's a pen, that's not a pen. I think that's the way to do it. And they go, well, don't overshadow the ref. I'm like, you have an angle there, and there.
Yeah. Got the best equipment in the world.
Overshadow the ref because the ref can't see it. So they're still working it out. And like this automated offsides, apparently that's being delayed. I'm like, why is that being delayed?
Yeah, I know. It was supposed to be in by now.
Yeah.
I think it was after this. I don't even know if it was this international break or the one just gone. Actually, I think it was the one just gone. At some point towards the end of this year, we were supposed to have it. Yeah. And I don't know why they've delayed it, because you see it works pretty fine in Champions League, doesn't it?
Yeah, because that realistically, that's some of the stuff that's taken quite a while, isn't it? With the lines, stupid fine. With the lines, whereas like if it's automated, it's just done.
Yeah,
you look in Champions League, it's just done. So I don't know. There's clearly stuff that we don't know about. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we don't know. So it's one of them, isn't it? Yeah,
it is one of them. But you mentioned the word genius, and I'm going to pull you up on someone you called a genius off air to me, because. This, I don't know. I don't actually think it should be that much of a surprise, because I think anyone that's watching this is going to be a Brighton fan anyway. Yeah. And calling Jack Hinshelwood a genius, and you said his brain is unbelievable. I mean, we've seen such a small sample size of Jack, but in every opposition, he's faced, he's not looked phased at all. And he's come back into this season, new manager, still impressing, established himself as an important player. He deserves every accolade he's getting at the minute. He's a Brighton boy, which is always nice. Loves the club. I think it's always better when they're local. And Jack personally. You said you knew him from a young age. What could you see in Jack Hinshelwood from when you were in the academy? You still speak to. You say you speak to Evan as well. Yeah. So what is it? Seeing him from this age. Being relatively. You're the kid. You're the fan. Whatever. To being like he is now, considering he's only, 18, 19? 18,
I think, it's, obviously I stand by that, he's a genius. And from a young age in the academy, his football IQ is, honestly, it's scary levels. And I think, that's what I said to you, he's always grown around that sort of community environment. Obviously, his dad, where he is now managing at York, he comes from a very good football background. So his knowledge around it is unbelievable. But like I was sort of saying to you, when he's always in the right place, or he's always making the right runs. That's not luck. That's skill. Like I said to you, whenever we'd sort of do like team meetings, or we're going through like tactics, and the coach sort of asked us a question, he would know the answer straight away, pretty much all the time. So he has that level where it's just, there's another one. He just has that level where he's so football smart, and up here it is frightening how sort of like clever he is. Just around for like where to be, where the next pass is going to be, then where the next pass is going to be. And he's sort of shown under De Zerbi, he can sort of just go in, suit that style. Obviously under the new manager, he's done the same again. I think he's one of them where you could put him in any team, the manager goes, right, this is how we play, and he would know exactly what to do.
Just picks it up.
So it's, and obviously his technical ability as well, that helps, he's very good with that. But his football IQ, like say with like Pascal Gross, his football IQ is top. Was he the quickest player, Pascal? No, but didn't need to be, because he always knew sort of where to be. So yeah, he is. I'd put him down as like a football genius at such a young age as well.
Yeah. This is the crazy thing, isn't it? I mean, he's played, I don't know how many exact games for us, but it can't be too many. Obviously, as you say, he comes back into the team under De Zerbi, coming into a new system under Hertzler. Very different football, really, isn't it? I mean, De Zerbi's was more patient build-up.
Different style as well. Like training sessions will be different, and it's a different person, different personality. Getting used to that, so. Yeah, he's, like I say, it just shows he can go anywhere and he'll be able to play.
Yeah, and that's just a testament, I suppose, to, his not just understanding, but probably willingness to understand as well.
Yeah.
You've got to be prepared to do that as well. You can tell someone to do something, but then it's on them to then go and do exactly that. And I think, as you say, it's unbelievable to see. But that comparison to Pascal was thrown around early. I remember it being called, mini Pascal. Could he be the successor to Pascal? Yeah. And obviously, Pascal Gross, absolute legend. He's proving it at Borussia Dortmund. He could have been. I think he probably should be associated as a Premier League icon. I know that Palace fans hate me saying that. I don't care. Yeah. I think if he was at a good club, I say good club, at a big club,
a bigger club,
the last 5 years, I think you would have seen it. If he was at Liverpool, say for example, like where Alexis is now, I think you would see stupid numbers of assists, stupid numbers of chances created, all that sort of thing. Do you see that sort of game in Jack? I know you said he's, this clever mindset. And yes, quite rightly, Pascal, it was slated for his pace. But as you say, he doesn't need that. Because if you can think 2 or 3 yards ahead, you don't need to be 2 or 3 yards ahead.
To be fair with Jack as well, he's not slow. I mean, and he also covers a lot of ground. So, but Pascal wouldn't be slow. He just doesn't look like he needs to sprint. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's...
Unless he's on a counter attack. Then it's not so fun.
Never mind. But yeah, there is that the similarity sort of there, and last year would have been really good for Jack, sort of spending that time with Pascal. Would have been really good for him, learning from him. There is similarities there because he can see where he slots into different positions. But same thing as Pascal. So Pascal sometimes played at right back. Jack's done that, and then last couple games he's then gone into midfield, which is the position he played in when he was younger.
He started the season at left back as well this season.
So that's what I mean. You can put him anywhere and he'll know you can put him up front. Probably not put him in goal, but you could put him in any position and he'll know what to do.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be completely out of place. So if you put Danny Welbeck maybe in centre mid, probably might look out of place because he's always been a striker. I mean, that's his perfect position. But I reckon you put sort of Jack, he's versatile, like James Milner. You can put him anywhere and they won't look out of place.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is definitely them similarities sort of there, and his, like you say, his football IQ and all that around it is top. And obviously he's still very young, but he started off incredibly well.
He has,
and obviously now going into the England setup, I think he's just been called up again. Just been called up again to the England under-21s.
Yeah.
For me, it's a matter of time until makes that jump. Obviously, it's so difficult. Look at the players we have playing for England. It's frightening. But if he keeps going the way he's going, all of a sudden, Brighton fans won't like hearing this, but he'll be getting offers coming in from the top 6
Hopefully he makes himself a legend European here instead of being the boyhood fan.
He's that local boy. So for me, like Lewis Dunk, he loves the club. It's not, he doesn't just sort of just see it. He hasn't grown up around it. Like Pascal Gross, for example, it's a harder decision for him when Dortmund come in. Like that's back to his home. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, if he grew up in Brighton, he wouldn't leave, would he?
No.
So for me, that's sort of the same with Jack. He's always, why would he leave? This is a club he loves. Unless obviously it's something ridiculous. Then it's different. But it's the club he loves. So why would he go?
Yeah, I just want to pick you up on one thing you said about versatility. On a player's point of view, what is it that makes a player so... You say obviously the brain and that, I get that. And you've got to be, to some extent, a very technically gifted player. People probably wouldn't look at James Milner and say technically gifted player. But I think if you watch football, you probably would say that.
Does the basics really well.
Does the basics well, for sure. So what is it that makes a player say, look, I can play your left back, I can play your right back, I can play your midfield. Okay, you're a teenager, but it doesn't matter. Not everyone can do that. That's not a very common thing. I'd say actually more in the modern footballer. That's becoming more of a, a bit of a benchmark, is you have to play at least 2 or 3 positions, otherwise you're not going to compete at the top level. So what is it to you that, what is it that's required maybe for a player to be able to do that? Or are you just born with that? Is that something you have to just have?
I think it's understanding like football IQ is up there. Like you need to understand sort of when we do like team tactics, it's not that when we do a team meeting, there's times we talk about units. So there'll be times we talk about defensive unit, midfield unit, forward unit, and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
What a lot of players do, it's just how the brain works. When they talk about their sort of set positions, they're focused. When they're sort of not, they're like sort of brain lose it. But with Jack, I reckon if you asked him in every single position what their role was needed or what they were needed to do in that role, he would know the answer. Even though he doesn't play there, he would know what they need to do. So I think that's what brings the versatility in, is because he already knows. Like if you go, right, you got to play left wing today, oh, blimey. But he would know what to do. Yeah. He'd know what runs to make. He would know when to peel in, when to peel out.
He's physically got to do that himself as well. That's the crazy thing for me. As I said before, you can be told to do something, but then actually going to do it, it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
So how is he that? How can you be that good at both? You can understand and be knowledgeable and you could be unbelievable. Right, I could learn everything there is to know about podcasting. Right, doesn't mean I'm going to be the biggest thing in the world. But the main point is like, how does that then transcend to on the pitch? To being able to do that and be able to defend and attack and be in midfield.
I think that's probably something he just had from a young age. He's always been able to defend and attack. It's probably going forward and then going back. It's one of them. It's obviously there'll be better finishers than him. There'll probably be better defenders. But the fact he can do it all. Like his head, he's just shown his heading ability.
Yeah.
I said to him, like, I can't remember him heading the ball when we were younger. Do you know what I mean? So, it's that's just a football skill. He is skilled all round. He's an all round footballer. He can do anything. Like you say, he can defend. He can attack. He'll be able to do skills. You might not see him, but he'll be able to do it. He can hit free kicks and all that sort of stuff. But I think that's just because the amount of football we played as a kid. Like when I said to you when we were younger, like 11, 12, and we'd be at Worthing games when his dad was manager, we were just zinging balls about on the pitch before the game. Like since probably he can remember, he's had a ball at his feet. He's played football all of his life. So I think, and he loves football, even in the off season. Don't want to get him in trouble here, but I remember he was doing like, not last or so, I think the season before he was breaking into the first team. He would then go and like he'd be doing a session like with his dad, and or say like Worthing were back a couple of weeks before like pre-season. He would want to go and do sessions. Yeah, he just wants to play football all the time because he loves it. Which you need that, and a lot of players, you'd be surprised, a lot of players don't have that.
No, yeah,
especially because he'll want to play football 24/7. Yeah, he'll hate missing. Like when he was injured, he would have absolutely hated it. Yeah, because he just wants to play football.
Yeah, it is that mentality, and I do know a couple that talented players, but they don't care.
It's not. Yeah, it's always people go, don't
okay,
care.
They don't care. They don't have the drive to make it happen.
They don't. There's not that want to play football all the time, and it's when you do get older and you've been doing it for so long, and maybe your body is a bit like it's different. It's more maybe watching football, maybe not playing, because no one can play football 24/7. It's physically impossible. But he will want to do everything around football. Obviously, you heard of boys that they'll go home and they won't watch a football game. Obviously, Ben White's been called out. He doesn't watch football. That's just his personality. Jack's personality, he'll want to watch football all the time because he loves it. Whether there's a League 2 game on or a National League...
Sounds like our household.
Yeah. Or like National League game on or something, he'll want to watch it because he loves football. Yeah. I think you need that to be able to be that sort of player.
What do you put that to you? Do you want to always play football?
Yeah, I love football. See, I'm not at that same level. Like,
no,
I won't watch football all the time because I do have sort of interest elsewhere where I'm sort of looking. I've always liked to do different things. Like when I spoke about last time, I always like to sort of venture and sort of do different things. I sort of find like I do love playing football, but sometimes for me, I need that. Like I'll play golf and I sort of need that distraction sometimes, sort of just to then go back and like refocus. Like if I'm playing football all the time, and obviously I had a spell where football wasn't going well for me, then like nothing's going well. So for me, I sort of need them other things. But that's all like a personality thing. There's sometimes where I'll be like, oh, I really want to watch this game, or I want to go and watch this game. And then you might have a few months where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go and do this, sort of just take your mind sort of elsewhere. But it's different for different people. Like some people, like I say, will want to go and watch football all the time. Yeah. It wants to be on telly all the time. Yeah. They're a fan at the end of the day. And yeah, for myself, like, I'm a fan. Like people don't like, but I'm obviously a Liverpool fan. Even though
so wrong.
I know, I'm going around it. But I'm a Liverpool fan. Can blame my uncles, but like when Liverpool are on, I really want to watch Liverpool. So for me, that's sort of what I want to watch. If there's like a League 2 game on, maybe if I know people playing, or if I don't have anything that evening, I might watch it. But then at the same time, I would prefer to, like, I might go to the gym, or I might go see my friends or something like that. That's priority for me over then just watching a game of football.
Yeah, so. No, I fully get that. I fully get that. So when you look at sort of the tactics of Brighton now, right, I'm going to change the subject a little bit. It's keeping it around the Jack Hinshelwood moment. But the way the style's changed, right? I was talking to a Spurs fan about high lines, and I don't really like it at the minute. But right, there's time. Things can change. Under De Zerbi, hold the ball, bring it out from the back. Yeah. For you as a player, looking at sort of tactically now, looking at how Brighton play, do you look at that high intensity as sustainable, probably on a player, even if they absolutely love the game with everything they've got? Is it possible to play that all season?
It's one of them. I think so. I've always been quite a fan of, like, not chopping and change your style, but obviously you come up against different opposition. Yeah. So adjusting is probably a better way. I quite like that. So say you're playing against really, really quick wingers, just drop off a little bit more. But
that's what you'd always think, isn't it? Oh, quick winger. Let's give him a few yards.
But it's more like a quick, intelligent winger. Because if they just run, then you'll play a high line because they're going to be offside. But if they're intelligent with their runs, and it's also the personnel you have as well, they need to be able to have the pace to get back and defend, or you play with a goalkeeper that plays higher and comfortable with that, so then they can sweep in behind. So a lot of it depends on personnel. I like it. Would I play it every game? Probably not. And like I say, a lot depends on personnel. Like, see, I'm playing a non-league at the moment. Personnel is very different. Like, we might sometimes play, where I played in teams before, where I'll be playing with a centre half who is literally, he's just there just to win headers and kick it and block it. He's a big, I don't call him lump, but you know what I mean? Like just a centre half who's just going to kick it and head it. Are we probably going to play out with him? No. But he does his job really well. Could try. Might not go very well. But we know his strengths, and that's what I say in non-league. People go, oh, but you could find yourself a big centre half you can play. I went, yeah, but they probably wouldn't be playing non-league. That's the honest side of it. So sometimes you can get a good balance, but when you go to the elite level, you're going to have big centre halves who need to be comfortable with the ball at their feet, need to be quick, want to play that high line, and it's one of them where when you have that high line, it is a risk, but it can pay off because, like you say, that intensity is what the manager wants at the moment at Brighton. He wants that intensity. You can see it. So some fans obviously don't like it because and it hasn't worked sometimes. But it's one of them. If you get it right, it can work really well.
It sounds to me, the more and more people I speak to, that the risk and reward factors in football are so razor thin.
Yeah. Oh, right? Massively.
And I think that's not just the high lines, but that's the football we played last season. Yeah. Right? The football we played under De Zerbi was hold the ball, give it to the goalkeeper, and get a midfielder to drop as deep as physically possible. Yeah. So he's playing even deeper than the centre back, and he's receiving the ball there between two other
under pressure.
Attackers.
That's
under extreme pressure.
Yeah, wants to play into pressure.
So that in itself sounds suicidal, right? As football tactics go, that's awful, right? It's not, because you've got players that are more than capable of doing it. Yeah. Difference is now, right? Scrap that last bit. You've now got Brighton now. Yeah. Have we got the personnel to necessarily do that? We haven't got. We probably could do the De Zerbi style now, actually, but I don't think we're quite ready to do this yet.
Highlight. It's difficult because obviously the probably centre backs you have probably aren't not rapid, but at the same time they're not slow. It's a difficult one. I think it's not necessarily about, people always think about that ball over the top. It's more, I think what it's more about is actually when you retain possession of the ball, that everyone's then up the pitch. It's not that then if you win the ball back in the middle, everyone's scattered round. It's more if you win the ball back, you have numbers to then play with. I think that's what it's more about, what happens when you get hold of the ball. Because that's what football sort of seems to be swaying that way. It's more about everything about when we have the ball. Don't get me wrong, obviously, out of possession is still so important. But a lot of the focus is what do we do when we have the ball. So I think the high line is actually more, I don't think it's more of a defensive thing. I think it's actually more what happens when we get hold of the football. So you have that risk of that, but then you have the reward of when we win the ball back, we have loads of numbers up the pitch ready to go and score. I think that's actually how probably the coaches see it. But you'd have to ask him for that. That's just how I see it.
No, it's interesting to me because I think that, as you say, you're a player, so I see it on a different point of view to you. I watch it from the stands, whereas you'd probably envision yourself being the goalkeeper in Bart Verbruggen's position, and then seeing Webster getting caught in possession up there against Chelsea and thinking, "Oh God, here we go again."
Yeah, and that's always the risk though. When you give the ball away, that's always the risk, and you have to be willing to do that. And that everyone makes mistakes. You look.
I'm not slating Webster.
Everyone and it's like, but if it keeps happening and you're a fan, you go right. Something has to sort of change. Maybe not the pet, but. Yeah, something has to change.
Drop about 10 yards.
Yeah. If it keeps happening. If it happens once or twice, obviously you get your fan. But once you go, okay, it's when it sort of keeps happening. Obviously, Tottenham, like I say, their line is crazy high.
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, Tottenham's is ridiculous. I mean, but they've got
their
Mickey
fullbacks.
Van de Ven. Yeah.
And their fullbacks are rapid. Van de Ven is, oh my God, frightening.
Freak of nature.
Frightening quick. So you can maybe sort of understand why, but I reckon he would probably, obviously Andrew would probably still play that, even if he didn't have the quickest of centre halves.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you're that high, someone makes a run round, it balls over the top. I'm sorry, no one's that quick. If it's done pinpoint, no one's that quick to get back in time.
No.
I don't think there is anyway. No one's that quick to get back in time.
Even Van de Ven would be done in that position.
Do you know what I mean? So it don't matter how quick you are. I think that's just the pure tactics. But for me, I still think it's what happens when you win the ball back. It's not necessarily a defensive thing. It's what happens when you win the ball back. And then you have everyone up the pitch.
Yeah, the counter press.
You don't have to go through the process of, obviously, if you win the ball in your own third, and someone goes, well, where do you prefer to win the ball? Back there, or where do you prefer to win it? Up there. Obviously up there because it's close to the goal. So then you don't have to go through that process of getting the ball up the pitch, then play. So I think it's more, you have numbers up the pitch to then go and score. I think that's what it's more around.
No, it's interesting actually. I like that. I like the analysis, Toby. It's good stuff. Get your job on the analysis stuff. Eh?
Yeah, well, we do so much of it. To be fair, I'd take my hats off, obviously, with Lewis at the moment, obviously non-league, but the amount of analysis we do is really, really good. Like the coaches are really good with it. We've got our own analysis guy who he looks at the opposition or he'll look at our stuff, and we'll have like team meetings on it for half an hour. Like we jump on say we got a game Saturday, Tuesday, happens a lot in non-league. We'll jump on a call on either the Monday or the Sunday night, because we won't have training in between, going through analysis for about 45 minutes or so. Some boys will be like, a bit long, but it's really important.
Yeah.
It is really important. You've got to know your opposite, especially non-league. Sometimes you don't know who you're coming up against.
This is the thing though, isn't it? Like you say this is about non-league, but like the standards, the technology is higher now. Like,
massive. Like we got the cameras that will film everything, and it's even at the top level. Like teams will change their tactics last minute. So what they've done 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, or for the last few weeks, you might turn up and they're playing a completely different system, completely different style, so that they can only go off what they played in the past. Whereas that's why I think some top teams are not becoming predictable, because a lot don't change it. I think Jurgen Klopp was slightly different, where sometimes they'll change things, but everyone tends to just have their way of playing, and sort of that's it. Where it's one of them where maybe if you changed it, because we had it this season, right? So obviously we were flying at the top of the league because teams were coming out. They're like, no, we're here to try and win. Whereas then we played a team like a few leagues below, and they literally stuck 11 players behind the ball and were just shifting because they weren't. They were just hoping on a counter attack. So, and we didn't score.
Sounds like a anti-Brighton tactic.
Yeah, we couldn't break them down. So then that's when it sort of become, right, we need a different sort of style.
Yeah.
But that's football, isn't it?
Just quickly on that, actually, just before we move on to the final bit. The low blocks, it's still in the top level to all the way through, is still the most effective way of stopping a goal from going in, is to put more and more people in front of the ball, right? And I don't think that many things will be able to stop that from happening, apart from a moment of magic or a bit of luck.
Yeah.
And the only things that I can probably say that's always haunted us against any team that just wants to park the bus, if you like, against us, they'll probably see their result out. The only ones that didn't was Forest a couple of weeks ago, but they still came back in their credits 2-2. We probably should have won that game. But it was the only time really that a low block hadn't killed us dead.
Yeah.
What do you think that is the key, say, to opening up a low block. Because someone like Cole Palmer, right, at Chelsea, would probably be able to just have that moment of inspiration, that moment of magic to say, that's the pass that's going to kill it. Yeah. Say without Pascal Gross now, you know, that pass actually is less likely to come from a Brighton player now.
Yeah, it is so difficult. Because like I say, you rely on a little bit of magic, and say like your Pascal, your Cole Palmer's not having a great day. They might not find that part. It's really difficult. For me, you just have to keep probing and keep probing. Like, don't play that pass, which is probably just going to run out to the goalkeeper. That 1 in a million pass. Sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't sort of express yourself as a player, but when you're playing a low block, you do get frustrated sometimes, and you will normally find one of them in the team will get bored, and they will either lose concentration or they'll want to jump and press. That normally tends to happen, especially lower leagues. So it's finding that moment when that individual switches off. That's when you play the pass. When that individual goes and press, right, that's when you move. So we sort of use a phrase in football, don't get bored. So obviously don't get bored to keep moving it. And then sort of you have to find that killer instinct, but you have to keep probing. Sometimes you play that pass in and then you have to play it back. Yeah. Because you just got to keep them moving.
So when fans get frustrated at that pass, they goes across goal, out wide, back in.
There's a reason for it. You have to keep moving them. Because if you just stood still, they'll just stand still. When you move the ball, they move. The ball moves quicker than the player. So you have to keep moving it and then find that pass or find that moment. And I'm not saying that's going to happen every time. You need one goal to score. Or you need one goal to win if you stop it from going in the other net. So if someone's playing a low block and you score that goal, they're not going to play a low block for the rest of the game because they need to, at some point they have to come out and try and score. So if you can get that goal, you can probe, but you have to probe from minute one. You have to go. And I always put balls in the box. That always scares teams. When you get a ball in the box, if they clear it, they tend to sort of be out of structure, out of system because someone's had to move, or you never know, you might win the header or you get a corner, and then that's something different. So for me, you just have to keep probing, keep moving the ball around, and just wait for that one person in the opposition just to switch off or to go on to jump. We call it to jump, to go and press, because they just want to go. Normally it's a striker. They just want the ball.
João Pedro.
They just want the ball. So when someone's playing a low block and they go, you go, right, that's our moment, pop. We now have more numbers. It's all about finding the spare man with the way sort of like Brighton playing the way a lot of people play. Obviously, we have more numbers when you use the goalkeeper because their goalkeeper isn't going to press, is he? He has to stay in the goal. So you wait for that one to jump, and then you just work out where the spare man is, and then you work your way up the pitch. Yeah. A lot easier said than done.
Of course it is. Everything is. But it's very interesting.
Yeah. So that's why they play it around, because they always probing, you're just waiting for that one person to lose concentration, and then you got to go. Yeah. And you got 90 minutes to do it. So that's where it is difficult. And it is frustrating. Like I don't like playing against it, especially when you're a goalkeeper. If I'm on that team, you're not really that involved because everything's all over there. So I find it frustrating. But
what's it like on the other side or when you're getting probed? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, sometimes. Like we had it recently in a few games. Like we've been 1-2-0 up, and there's about 15-20 minutes to go, and they're putting loads of balls in. They're just on top of us. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy it because you're always involved. You're always switched on. I do enjoy it. Obviously, I much prefer to just be like 5-0 up and we're cruising. But no, it is good fun. But it is, when you're doing it, you have to stay switched on that whole time. You switch off once, that can be the moment which you let your team down. Yeah. And it's the concentration levels. You have to be so switched on around it.
No, I agree. And then just the one final thing you mentioned to me is Evan Ferguson. You keep in touch with still. Obviously been out the team, back in now. I'd imagine, hopefully, fingers crossed, don't get injured again because he's had a horrible time with injuries recently. And hopefully that is the last of it. He's had his operation. Gradually getting back in, couple of 10 minutes here and there. I saw someone actually say the other day that he's still one of the best, if not the best, centre forward talent in the world, apart from obviously Erling Haaland. They and this wasn't a Brighton fan either. I think it's a City page or something saying that he is still to be remembered as one of the best striking talents in the world. Do you agree with that? As someone that's seen him from when he was younger to now?
He's still so young. Like he's still
like 18, 19.
Still so young. Yeah. So he's already proven he can score goals in the Prem. had not a blip, but he's had his injuries and stuff, and it's always different. That the strikers are on the hardest position because everyone just judges you on scoring goals, but he's still so young. I think people just have to sort of remember that because he is like a generational talent to be his size and to able to like he knows his body as well. He knows how to use it. He knows the right edge. He knows how to finish. And to prove it in the Prem, which is the best league in the world. So yeah, of course he's a generational talent. I think he just needs that little bit of time. He just gets back fit and ready, and then it's tough though, isn't it? When you're a striker and you need 5 games to get into it. Normally, if you haven't scored in 5 games, people go and don't play him because you need goals right there and right now. So it's always difficult to come in the season as a striker. It's so tough, but he's proven he can do it. So for me, nothing stops him from getting back in the team and scoring them goals. Yeah. Because don't get me wrong, like big clubs would still want him because he like I say, he's so young and he's proven he's ready and he can score goals in the Premier League.
He's hunger for it as well.
He's proven he can score goals in the Prem.
I think he has 12 goals. I think
what I mean.
He's the only teenager to have that many goals apart from Wayne Rooney, if I'm right in saying.
Exactly, and it's so hard to find people that can promise you goals. So you're right, like here, if you ask him, he'll go, I should have had more. That's just what he's like.
Well, that's what you want to hear, isn't it?
Yeah,
really, as a fan, as a coach. I think, he's been exceptional, but I feel a bit sorry for him in the last sort of 6 months. Because I think after that Newcastle game, it's probably the worst thing that could have happened to him in a way because it put too many eyes on him, and probably people were like, "Oh, Ferguson's going to be the next Harry Kane."
Well, people also compare with like Aaron Connolly.
Yes,
people go, "Oh, Aaron Connolly done it," and then he sort of I don't see that sort of happening. For me, he always had that drive, always had that hunger. Don't get me wrong, Aaron had that as well, but Evans sort of he scored more goals. He sort of I think proven a bit more, and I think like he's also has that right mentality for me where he'll just like I said, I don't want to say bounce back because it's not that he just comes back from injury and he'll just come and prove himself. Do you know what I mean? It's not a bounce back because he's still so young.
Yeah, like, well, most teenagers at 18, 19 that are strikers have not been playing in the Premier League regularly.
Or not
they've been on loan.
Them goals.
Yeah, or they've been in an academy probably. They've not many teenagers get a chance at striker.
No.
So I think that's always an important one to remember for fans because they do tend to forget that. Same with Julio, same with Facundo Buonanotte. They're kids, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
The so there's a lot to learn. Toby, it's been a pleasure, mate.
No, really enjoyed it. It's always good to be on. Thank you.
Your handshake over the table because there's no glasses, so I can do it without knocking something over. Let them know where they can find you. What's your stuff?
Probably everywhere. Obviously on Instagram, we've got Toby Bull 11 saying that's the same everywhere. YouTube, been doing vlogs, so I've had decent feedback from it. People really enjoy it. A bit of insight into non-league, sort of what my life looks like. I said to people that I've committed, obviously now playing for a year, going to be at Lewis playing. I've got the time to do it. I might as well show people sort of what it looks like behind the scenes, and then people go, "Oh, but what about if you were to like move up?" I'm like, not worried about that. I know I'm playing. I know how to make the content. I can get it out. People enjoy it. That's the focus. There's no sort of like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, the stuff I do on social media, that's a job, but the YouTube stuff is, I enjoy it, and I sort of want to show people the good, the ugly, and all that sort of stuff behind sort of me, what it looks like playing in non-league, being a goalkeeper. It's sort of like what Ben Foster sort of done in a way. But it's just sort of like a non-league version. It's sort of a little bit into like my life because I sort of built that following on Instagram, but I feel like I want to get my personality out a little bit more. People see my videos, but if someone asks them, all right, what's he like as a person, they probably wouldn't know. Whereas now I want to try and get my personality out a little bit more, just so then people know a bit more about me and what it's like.
Nice. Toby, top man. Thank you very much for joining us down at the Caxton again. We'll make sure to leave all the links in the description. Thank you as well to Sam Music for the lighting, which is blinding my eyes on the outro here. But yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube and obviously on Spotify. Keep streaming. Leave some reviews as well. Follow Toby. And we'll see you after the international break, and goodbye.